שלום, אנחנו נמצאים בשיעור מיוחד בנושא התקללות. אנחנו נקרא קטעים נבחרים.
We're in a special lesson on the topic of incorporation. We're going to read verses of the Kabbalists on this topic. You can find materials on kab.tv and send questions there during the lesson. Once again, inclusion, incorporation.
So this is the second lesson about this subject, and it's such an important subject that it is worthwhile to dwell in this more and more, go deeper. The thing is that in our world, there isn't a real example of integration or intermingling. We have it in a very minute, external example for it, in a way that it's in our ego and our will to receive if something is worthwhile, to acquire a few qualities from others in order to gain more, succeed more. So we do have some kind of integrating of one another. And we know, or psychologists know it, or people, that how someone great can influence people that are lower than him, how children can be an influence of grown-ups. That is also integration, intermingling. But when we speak about it, Hitkalelut, in the wisdom of Kabbalah, that's above reason. It goes against your desire, against your nature, when we need to be opposed to our qualities, our tendencies, our regular ones. That's why this kind of integration, or hitkalelut, demands great efforts, help from above. It can only take place by the reforming light. And except for that, it turns us, specifically, it is what inverses us. It turns us from being a small egoistic vessel of this world to a unique vessel that exists in the upper world. That is what happens if we truly use this quality of hitkalelut, meaning we ourselves can't reach this, only the reforming light does it. Like in any spiritual thing, it says the Creator will finish for me, will finish the work. That's one thing. The other is that we need to expect the upper light to specifically perform that integration between us. When we integrate from one another, not like in our world, let's say if two metals or liquids or characteristics of behavior can integrate, the still, the vegetative, the animate. Let's say if we make a certain connection between one kind of wood with another kind of wood, and then we get something. No. We have no example in our world what it really means. Because by this, by the hitkalelut, we actually don't connect one matter to the other, but the Creator, which is in one matter, with the Creator, which is in the other matter. And then by this we get that we truly, by these actions, what we get is we get a revelation of godliness, dvekut, adhesion in it, awareness, connection with Him in a whole, complete way. Even a small measure, but for perfection, until we reach Gemara Tikkun, the end of corrections. That's why this action is very important. We need to go deeper in order to understand it. So let's continue, and let's hope we get it. Please.
Item number 1 from Shamati, number 81, concerning raising man. It is known that because of the breaking, sparks of Kedusha fell into Biyah. But there in Biyah, they cannot be corrected, and hence must be elevated to Atzilut. And by doing good deeds and mitzvot, with the aim to bring contentment to one's Maker, and not to oneself, these sparks rise to Atzilut. Then they are integrated in the Masach of the upper one, at the Rosh of the degree, where the Masach remains in its eternity. And at that time there is a zivug on the Masach by the Hitkalelut of the sparks. And the upper light spreads through all the worlds according to the measure of the sparks that they have raised. Additionally, when one engages in Torah and mitzvot in order to bestow and not to receive, through it the sparks rise to the Masach and the Rosh of the world of Atzilut, until they rise degree by degree at the Rosh of Atzilut. And when they are integrated in that Masach, and the level of light appears according to the size of the Masach, more light is added in all the worlds, and man, too, who caused the betterment above, receives illumination by having improved above in the worlds.
We already learned it many times. Especially he talks about it on the article of Laila de Kala, the night of the bride, where he explained how the souls ascend from the worlds of Biyah to Olam Atzilut, Malchut Atzilut, the Shekhinah, the divinity, and they become Bnei Heichala, the sons of the divinity, of the Malchut. And then they can keep raising the man until Rosh of Atzilut, and from there Mad will come down and fill them. That's called that Zer'anpin descends to Malchut, and a zivug happens between them, and that's how the souls are filled by the upper light. So all of our work is by integration between us. Not to think that it is something that man can do alone, but man is he who connects to others. You are called Adam, those who can connect. And this method is really unique, special, that when we connect, as it is written in other places, when we connect into a 10, we start awakening Malchut of Atzilut, and Malchut awakens Zer'anpin, and that's how it keeps going, and the correction takes place. So, if we're speaking about the shattering of the vessel, the system of the worlds, the structure, the system that's correcting us, obviously everything's prepared for correction. We just have to understand that we are Bnei Chala, the sons of the divinity. We have to integrate in it, in the system, and by that awaken to corrections. And it only depends on our connection, or better to say, in the Hitkalelut between us, in the integration. Questions? If not, so I have a question. In what intensity should the zivuk, the hitkalelut between us have to happen in order to cause a hitkalelut between Zer Anpin and Malchut? And what strength or intensity does the hitkalelut, the integration between us, have to take place in order to cause the zivug in Zon, in Zer Anpin and Malchut? You start talking about it, and suddenly you'll start understanding. Main thing is do it together. All right, let's go quick.
The incorporation between us needs to be to the maximal extent so that we will come to such a deficiency that will obligate the upper system to bring it all the way upwards and bring it back. It has to be a strong deficiency of a group.
It's hard to put it into scale of the intensity, but it starts when a person has no more forces anymore, and he needs to go inward into a state where he really gives up on a part of himself in order to integrate, cooperate, mingle in the other part. If he doesn't do it, he'll feel that he's just losing it, that he must do it, that it's unbearable to not reach that state yet.
Yes, incorporation between us is a very strong task, and we have a privilege to reveal, and there's godliness, which is a matter of completion, of wholeness. So each of us needs to invest efforts and power to really understand what incorporation is.
Yeah, and this effort, we together in Arvut help each other, and the intensity grows in this Arvut when we help each other.
It needs to be something that we're not used to do, because Rav said earlier that Hitkalelut, inclusion, is not something that we have to do. It's not beyond our forces. It's a form of me sacrificing, subjugating, a lot of labor, a lot of effort. Also, that is a type of inclusion, because you're deciding that you want to sacrifice something of your own, to subjugate yourself.
I want to open my heart, break the walls that surround me, that define me as separate from my friends, in order to let my heart just spill out and feel their hearts coming into me.
Rav said in the morning lesson that the moment we touch each other, we will feel the hatred, the rejection, just like the 10 of Rabbi Shimon. So the moment we touch each other, truly we'll start to feel each other on the connection of love. That's where that zivug of Zon will be.
Rav, I'll ask a bit closer to the answer. What kind of integration should take place between us in order to be rewarded and to obligate the zivug of Zon? It's simple. It's like a simple riddle. Come on.
Just like Rav drew that two circles of the two friends on the diagram where one enters the other, and that's basically where that melting occurs between the two connections between the two of them.
I agree, it's annulment. We reach a state of annulment, and Malchut rises to Atzilut.
I really have no idea.
It
seems to me that each of us needs to be zero.
From my part, I need to make the maximum effort. Only this, because I don't know when I annul truly myself before the others, and I don't know when this happen. This is up to the reforming light. So what I can do is the maximum effort to open my heart in front of the friends and to annul myself. But this is what is in my hand to do, I have to do.
For translation's sake, Giuseppe said, I just have to open my heart towards the friends and do as much as I can to integrate with them.
Rav, do we have an answer? Everyone's quiet. So, what is each of us towards the group? Malchut, the black point. What is the group towards each and every one? The first 9. Zeranpin, yes? If I relate correctly to the group, that's Malchut the Zeranpin, and that's how each of us is. Then by that we build the zivug of zon between us, inside of us. It doesn't exist in some place. Okay? Well, let's continue.
Part number 2 from the book Adir B'Marom of the Ramchal. The Nukba is a secret of guiding the entire world and is called heart, since by this secret the heart of man is established, and with the heart one can understand, and one understands and feels. Likewise, the feeling of all the actions of all the worlds reach the nukva, because she is impressed from the lower ones. It follows that all the hearts of men are merely parts of that heart, meaning that all the souls are rooted in the nukva, and therefore they are called her organs, and hence they are man, because she is not considered whole until she joins with all her branches. This is the matter of the heart, extends to all the souls that are grounded in her. It follows that this state of the heart is incomplete until it includes all the discernments of the heart that extend from it in all the souls. And when it includes all of them, it becomes wise, knowing, as in the understanding heart, in all the governs, since all the souls are gathered in the nukva, which is a root to the upper heart, and then the heart functions properly and divides its leadership to all the sides accordingly.
המבין אל כל מעשיהם, כי נקבצים כל הלבבות בנוקבה, שהוא הלב העליון השורשי, ואז יפעול הלב פעולתו, ומחלק הנהגתו לכל הצדדים כראוי.
שאלות על זה? כן.
Questions?
If each one of us is a black point, the Malchut, what does it mean that I'm relating correctly to Zer Anpin, or the group from that point? It's still a black point.
Right, that's why I restrict it in its darkness and want to relate it to Zer Anpin, so it'll be integrated there. And from that it will have the structure. As much as it integrates itself, includes in Zeranpin. It will receive a common structure, and then will be Zeranpin doesn't have a kli, and Malchut doesn't have the light. That's how they will integrate. According to what we read just now, we're not allowed to ask about what was before, but about what we read now. You confused everyone now. You'll read it again.
Part number 2. The nukva is the secret of guiding the entire world, and is called heart, since by this secret the heart of man is established. And with the heart, one can understand and feel. Likewise, the feelings of all the actions of all the worlds reach the nukva because she is impressed from the lower ones. It follows that all the hearts of men are merely parts of that heart, meaning that all the souls are rooted in the nukva, and therefore they are called her organs, and hence they are man, because she is not considered whole until she joins with all her branches. This matter of the heart extends to all the souls that are grounded in her. It follows that this state of the heart is incomplete until it includes all the discernments of the heart that extend from it in all the souls. And when it includes all of them, it becomes wise, as the understanding heart in all the governs. Since all the souls, this is the order of bestow, and because all the branches integrate in the root, and the root is made of all of them, and gets what he needs for all of them, and he gives back to all of them the part that they need. And that is the secret that you put his hearts together and receives all their deeds, since all the souls are gathered in the nukba, which is the root of the upper heart, and then the heart functions properly and divides its leadership to all the sides accordingly.
There's something very interesting here. How do the souls operate Malchut, called the heart, as Malchut operates Zon and above, the whole structure of the world of Atzilut, receives forces from there and divides them to the souls. And by that it becomes the heart. So let's talk about how this happens. How Malchut is incorporated from all the shattered souls that rise to it, how it raises man to above it, and how through that man she connects to Zon, to the Rosh of Atzilut, receives upon them and divides it below. She is like the center of the connection between the upper system and the lower system. And in truth, the upper system doesn't exist above Malchut unless there is a deficiency in Malchut. To the extent in which Malchut has a deficiency, this deficiency immediately builds the upper system in Ein Sof, from the simple light, in accordance with the deficiency that Malchut receives from the lower ones. And she receives from the Ein Sof, from above, all the light that the lower ones need in order to correct themselves, to fill themselves. And thus, by that, there's a connection between the souls and the light of Ein Sof through Malchut of Ein Sof, which is called the heart. Are there any questions?
עכשיו ראינו
We saw that until the Nukba doesn't feel all of her parts, she can't reach the complete corporation, integration. So is it a must that it'll happen? Well, we see in the tens that if 110 reaches a complete connection, it will already activate all the worlds, no? Isn't it a contradiction?
No. It's not a contradiction. We also read that in the first one, and it's not that we do whatever we feel like. If 110, I think yesterday we read that if 110 comes to attainment, to connection through it, because we're all connected, also the rest of the tens connect and are integrated in it. Therefore, well, I'll tell you, we don't understand how the upper world is really built. There is no upper world. There is no system. The system is organized and built to the extent that you have a deficiency. It's not that there are some blocks somewhere that, like in big computers, big systems, and they're working all the time. There's no such thing. Rather, only to the extent in which there is a deficiency from below, then it's arranged also above. Below and above. Otherwise, not. Otherwise, you have the light of Ein Sof, which fills the Malchut of Ein Sof.
How or when or how will Malchut feel all of her parts?
To the extent in which they want to be corrected. Only. Raise man, and it includes you. Don't, then no. But not you. It needs to be the 10. The minyan. More?
How do we reach such a desire?
That's something I can't answer. We've learned that 1,000 times. One will help the other, one does not save himself from the house of imprisonment, and more and more. Well, you could look for that. If there won't be a deficiency, there won't be what to talk about.
What are those deficiencies that we raise?
Malchut can feel desires only if they come from a lack of connection. That's it. That's what's missing, and that's what it absorbs.
So if I'm in a lack of connection, how can I raise it?
Raise the lack of connection. That's called man.
As an individual?
How could there be an individual lack of connection? Only in a 10.
And if there's no connection in the 10?
Then wonderful. The fact that there is no connection, that's what we need to raise. A prayer for the lack of connection. Yes? Goka?
I didn't understand why there are no upper worlds without Malchut, as if she creates all of them. How can that be?
Well, let's say that. I just said it that way. Forget it.
Let's ask in a different way. What is it?
I don't want to confuse you. If it's confused you, don't take it for now.
What is Malchut?
If we gather deficiencies for connection, by that we build Malchut. If not, we're not collecting those deficiencies. We don't have Malchut. We don't have the 5 worlds. There's the upper world, the world of Ein Sof, filling the Kli of Malchut. There's no first restriction. There's nothing that belongs to the lower ones. When we talk about the Kelim that are incorporated, and all that was written is that the Kabbalists wrote from what they've attained. But if there's no creature,
So to create a malchut, what is that collecting of the deficiencies that
If you would want to connect with the others and see that you're not capable, that common deficiency like you have in your 10, if you gather these deficiencies and operate it so it will truly be a man, the right deficiency, then by that you're building malchut.
what is that activity of gathering the deficiencies?
That you all want to connect between you above your egos.
And then
It's enough. That's really excessive. It becomes a game already.
can we draw this imaginary line between the heart of Atzilut to our physical heart?
Go to the university and learn that.
We usually say that we get inspired, we have to see the friends great to be inspired by them. Here we're saying that the Malchut is inspired by the lower ones?
It's impressed by being able to include inside of it the right deficiencies of theirs. It's like you today are as if there's some cloud in your head or in your heart. What's happening to you? Oh, Amika will ask something good. Please.
I want to ask, it used to be accustomed to say that the next friend is like the target of our connection, meaning the vessel we're lacking, the ones who are absent, the ones who aren't, let's say, in the group yet. And I want to ask, how do you find the deficiency? Or in a reality where, let's say, in America, it's
No. Ask to the point. Leave me with the United States and all that nonsense.
okay, no United States. The vessel has to reach perfection in order to receive an ascent. So we're lacking something.
We're lacking a deficiency from the connection, that we're not capable of connection. We understand that it's a must, but we're not capable. This deficiency, which includes within it also the reshima of itlabshut and also the reshima of aviyut, that we want and we're drawn to it and we're battling for it, that we all together need to connect all of our ego that's bothering, which is as the aviyut, our whole inclination towards connection, which is the zakut, or the purity. All of this, we need to demand the right picture, the right scrutiny, and correction and fulfillment. That's what we want. That's malchut. This desire that we can all together establish, stabilize, will be called malchut of Atzilut. And before that, it doesn't exist.
So it's there, but it's lacking?
No, it's not there.
So who are we raising the deficiencies to before in the Malchut that isn't there?
Yes?
Well, I know if I need something from my mother or my wife, so
The Creator doesn't exist without the created beings. You don't understand that, but it's like that. You have to buy that.
so it's like a step before raising.
The moment you equip yourself with the right deficiency, you build it. And then you have a connection with Ein Sof. And all the worlds immediately organized it, meaning this whole filter of the lights from above down and from below up.
What I'm asking is about the deficiency that is disappeared. That if I'm thirsty, I ask for fulfillment. It's a deficiency, it is clear to me. It's not invisible. How do we reach a deficiency that I don't even have in my knowledge, my awareness?
For that, we need to work in a group and through the reforming light, which we will, God willing, will start studying from tomorrow morning. Next.
Part number 3 from letter number 4 by Bala Sulam. You lack nothing except to go out to a field that the Lord is blessed and collect all of those flaccid organs that have dropped from your soul and join them into a single body. In that complete body, the Creator will instill His divinity instantly, and high streams of light will be as never-ending fountain. Then each place on which you cast your eye will be blessed, and all will be blessed because of you, for they will be constantly blessing you.
We all belong to one Kli, each only in his point to which he needs to gather all his parts, which is actually all of Adam and Eve, of all of humanity. Therefore, if a person understands that, that's what he's saying. You lack nothing except to go out to a field that the Lord has blessed. You're looking at the world. These are the parts of the soul, of your soul. And to collect all those flaccid organs that have drooped from your soul and join them into a single body, which is your body, it's your soul. That's how each and every one who does this towards him, towards his point, which, as he is actually the point of Malchut, and all the rest of the souls are his first name. And by doing so, we build a connection between Malchut of Atzilut and Zeralpi of Atzilut. And by that, we raise it through the reforming light and the connection between them. It influences and connects our general Malchut, all of our Malchuts together with the first 9 towards each and every one. And by that we come to Zon. And then we see that this Zon, as they grow, they take on the depiction of Abba and Ima, and that's it. Everything occurs through the connection between us. Question? Yes?
Each one is a Malchut, and the 10 in front of him is the 9 Sfirot.
Other than me, my 9 friends are the 9 Sfirot.
So a person is annulled and is included in those 9 Sfirot and reaches the Sman to raise his request to the Creator.
Yes.
So then he is included in Malchut of Atzilut. As much as I understand, the Hitkalelut is also between the Malchuyot, that they have to be 10.
There can't be incorporation within the Malchut. It's the private black point in each and every one. That will happen only in the end of correction, if you're already asking.
So it turns out that each one is in an individual work before the 10.
Again?
Each one has his own individual work in front of the 10.
Yes, each is correcting his personal, private.
So in what am I integrating in the friend?
That they are all your first 9. And each has his first 9 and his Malchut. But because we're connecting together, what's happening? All the Malchuts remain. It's as if we're connecting them, but they can't incorporate. They remain individual to each and every one. And the first 9 are also individual to each and every one. But there is an integration between the first 9 and not in the Malchuts. And this is what we bring to Malchut of Atzilut. By that we build Zeranpin, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, And each one has his Kadosh Baruch Hu, and each with his Malchut. And by that, we're correcting for the time being the souls. When will we be able to truly connect between them? Wait, that already has to do with the end of correction. For the time being, we're correcting our individual souls. You can also see this from the Torah, which tells us the whole process of correction, just not the end of correction, since that's how each and every one corrects himself through incorporation in others. But nevertheless, it's only through incorporation. There's tens, 100s, thousands, there are tribes, and etc. There was even a prohibition on intermarrying between the Kohens and Levis in Israel and the nations of the world. So we're still not even talking about the correction which includes everyone. For that, such a reforming light will come, which is Rav Palim Mekabtzel at the end of correction.
So what does each one give the 10?
Everything.
In order for this Hitkalelut to...
Everything. We want to incorporate in everything there is, but as far as the system, we understand that this is altogether just a partial correction.
And what we read,
incorporation.
And what we read, that the Malchut will be in Ein Sof, in that connection, that becomes the heart, the center of the 10?
Yes. Malchut of Atzilut is also like Malchut of Ein Sof, but when they all connect in the end of correction, in Gemar Tikun. We cannot integrate, like you're saying, because we don't work with our true desires, but rather only with Malchut, which is included in Bina. It's not real. It's kind of like replacement. It's not the real Malchut. It's the part of it that it's like a thin line. That's what we correct out of the whole circle. So don't hold me on my word here. Be a little bit more flexible. We are working for the time being upon this. Not just us. All our forefathers, they all worked just on this till the end of correction. And in the end of correction, the thin line will become a circle.
So it's always annulment. You annul yourself in front of the 9 sirot, and
annulment, yes, but not only that, also in connection. Annulment towards my ego so that I won't express it, and then annulment before the kilim. The annulment is the foundation upon which there already starts to be a structure, an incorporation between us. It's not just annulment. We talked about annulment. But other than that, there is a structure, connection. This connection is not complete. Whereas as one man in one heart, yes, we do this on one hand. On the other hand, understand that as far as the system that we're working with, where we're going towards the truth. So this is just a small part of the correction. It's not too bad. For the time being, correct this. It's also not nothing. Yes, where are we? 4.
Part number 4. From the Rav Kook, we know that everything is discerned by its opposite, as the light from the darkness. Also, man finds more of the benefit of the collective and the Hitkalelut with him while he feels single or individual, and feels how the collective complete his deficiency, also in the corporeal things and also in spiritual. And from this, he can put the love of the others into his heart more. And by joining the collective, his prayer acquires the degree of the prayer of the many.
Again,
we know that everything is discerned by its opposite, as the light from the darkness. In that way, man feels the benefit of the many and his hitkalelut with them through being an individual. He feels how the many complete his deficiency in corporeal things and in spiritual. And from this, he can put the love of the public into his heart even more. And by joining the collective, his prayer acquires a degree of the prayer of the many.
What is he saying? He's saying that until we feel on our own, we won't attain a thing, and we are truly going to be lost, and that it's like death, we will not appreciate what connection is. So the question is, how do we, through work in the group, quickly, discover that alone we can't attain a thing, and my death is better than my life? Go ahead.
By constant effort in the more actions in the 10, invest yourself in dissemination and anything you can do. So through these things, the despair from the will to receive from the forces for himself, that's what's going to be revealed. And just constantly go into connection in the group.
Yeah, through this multitude of actions that we do, we come to a state where we scrutinize this will to receive all the way, how lowly it is. And from this lowness, we come to a cry that we cannot live this way anymore.
It's written that only through the doing, by the integration, by dissemination between us, we'll be able to connect, to find the connection between us.
As much as I bind myself more and more to the group and do all that I need to do, and from that, all the discernments are clarified to me. Well, as much as I want to do it, I won't be able to do it alone.
The desire to solve your problems alone just always brings suffering. And when we connect with the friends in the 10, we discover that we're done with the suffering, that it relieves you by believing in them, trusting them. You stop with your will to receive, that constantly just wants to be in full control. Once you're with the friends, you start letting go of the control of the will to receive by practicing bestowal and yearning to do things together. The work itself relieves you from the suffering.
It's amazing how much the more the 10, and we're working more in the direction of connection, but it doesn't matter the context.
Rav, how do we convince ourselves that loneliness is death? That spirituality is only in connection, in a short, effective, beneficial way, to the point. Please. Like a doctor to a patient, that he must convince him to take a medicine. Please.
Try sometime to go out to disseminate alone. Try to go disseminate with your 10, and the difference is night and day, and then you just know.
The method is simple. I have to convince the friend that alone is death, and then it works on me. If I convince the 10 that lowliness is death, they influence me back, and in this way, I'm included in it.
Very simply, we see that in corporality, each cares for himself and only looks to see how it'll be good for him. And when we're in the 10, we see how we are truly completing each other and caring for each other.
כן, כמו שאמר החבר, ג'וזפה אומר,
Yet, Giuseppe is saying that just go out, try and disseminate alone. Nothing happens. It won't have any result, only destruction. And then try and doing it after you're connecting with the 10. That's the remedy that the doctor gives. Do as many actions as you can in the 10. Morning lesson, study, and what can actually convince is the light that reforms. Meaning all of these actions is just to draw the light. That is what does the action.
Our spirituality is only in the connection between us. One time we need to decide ourselves against the group and really feel how their spirituality becomes for you.
Yeah, it's like someone's sick and he goes to the doctor. He believes in the remedy he'll get from the doctor. And this way, by me going out and disseminating, and I open up to the others, or to society.
We're going to continue with verse number 5 from the Need for Love of Friends of Rabash. There's a special power in the adhesion of friends, since views and thoughts pass from one to the other through the adhesion between them. Each is mingled with the power of the other, and by that each person in the group has the power of the entire group. For this reason, although each person is an individual, he contains the powers of the entire group.
Under what conditions can I be included or integrated in what happens in society? What do I have to do in order to, as quick as possible, integrate in the forces of society? Because I'm told that if I have all of their forces, or like in Rabbi Yossi ben Kisma's story, so that's enough for me to reach Gmar Tikkun. What should we do in order to integrate from society?
Melt in it.
But, Rav, something you can actually do, and we know it takes place, that it works.
אפס אחד, בדרך כלל אני צריך
0, 1. Usually I need to annul, to know that if I want to absorb from the environment and from the friends, I need to subjugate my ego and to climb.
Actually, it's we will do and we will hear. Society asks for something and then you say yes. Then try and scrutinize if you can do it, how to do it. But first of all, you say yes because society asked. And it's kind of the creator.
It's truly so. I'm a soldier of the society. Whatever it demands of me, I need to do, and to do it with happiness and with enthusiasm. This nullification within it, I can integrate in them, incorporate them.
What the friend said is annulment and integration with a 10, the group, society.
Fill their desires, buy them gifts, invest in society as much as possible, to give confidence, happiness.
Giuseppe אומר פעולות.
Giuseppe is saying actions, actions, actions. because through the actions, the kavanah is scrutinized.
ככל שהכוונה יותר טהורה, ככה יש
The more the kavanah is pure,
יותר השפעה לזה.
there's more influence upon it. Practically, from our 10 that is about to serve another 10, to be the supporting 10, the moment we were a supporting 10 and we served the duty 10, it was amazing. We got their forces, we got their desires, feelings that were just... We came to preparation, I don't know, at like 2 a.m., You get forces. That's the forces of society. The annulment is the key, not of one person, but of the 10.
We know the sentence, you came to strengthen and you came out strengthened. We know that if someone's lacking something and that's that deficiency that the friend is missing, and I come to fill his deficiency, and by that I came out with a even greater addition. So that's really how this mutuality is revealed in this zivug.
First of all, I have to search for the good environment in order to integrate in this group. Second, I have to come to society and give everything I have. Because if I'm expecting to get forces from society, so I'm still left in my will to receive. So I have to start from here. How do I want to invest in the society to really put forces of my own in there? So it's something that influences them. It's something that I'll get the true forces from society.
Exactly, to invest, to care, and to be responsible.
Adhesion between the friends, it means it's infectious, that I want to be infected by their disease. By me counting on them, trusting them, I'll be influenced by them.
And even more than relying and being certain.
Part number 8.
Item number 8 from Zohar. For all, when a person prays his prayer, he should incorporate himself in the public, in the manifold of public. As it is written about Shunamit, I dwell amongst my own people. In other words, she said, I have no wish to be mentioned above, but to put my head among the masses and not leave the public. Similarly, man should be included in the public and not stand out as unique.
Rav, why not being above, but being with the collective works on or more beneficial than giving contentment to the Creator? Instead of rising upward and bestowing to Him from a high degree, that the dvekut is less. If a person would be in adhesion with the many, what is he saying? I dwell amongst my people. What's so unique about that than really being successful in the height you achieve? That is a question.
To be alone, lonely, I don't know how you can measure this height of the excellence.
Rav, there's another question here. So a person has to be included in the many and not be alone by himself. If I'm alone by myself, how can I ascend? So what does he mean? In short, why should you be the lowest and simple between the many? Lower your head all the way down. By this I give contentment to the Creator much more than by ascending all the way up the ladder. Please.
כי בורא לא רואה אותי, בורא רואה את היחס ביני ובין החברים שלי.
Because the Creator doesn't see me. He builds it between the relationships between us. There's no relationship. Only by incorporating this. That's the Assembly of Israel, yeah. Contentment is brought only when we find this connection between us, when we're the same height, when we're incorporated from each other, when there's no one above the other. This height is maybe with those who develop their reason, and we're developing our hearts. It's only happening when we're integrated together, when we're on the same ship. Actually, when you're zero, you always have this option to absorb more things and incorporate with more friends in the 10. The moment you feel that you're above everyone, you have nothing to get anymore. Against the measure of zero-ness, you acquire the strength to the extent of in which a person disappears and he acquires a reality that is broader, greater. And that's it.
ג'וזפ אומר כי אני אותה המלכות, אני הנקודה השחורה. ומעבר לזה אין עוד מלבדו.
And before that, I'm here in his place.
צריך להחשיב את כל המציאות מחוצה לי כי אין עוד מלבדו. ואני צריך לכן להתחיל מהעשירייה.
And I need to start from my 10, from the group.
ואז להמשיך לכל העם, מה שמחוצה לי.
And then continue here outside of the world, outside of me. These thoughts, think of Bala Sulam, that he also wanted to leave. So I'm thinking in comparison, someone who's developing the highest possible things, influencing the highest things, and to be with his children in the kindergarten, do something with them so that they will be able to rise and grow. It's like the smallest thing that to bring something that's the incorporation, because the Creator wants to dwell in the lower ones. He wants. It seems that's why it's best to be the lowest.
Yeah, because the purpose of creation is to exactly reach the collective soul. We're just a passage. It's not in order to supply ourselves, only to reach the lower ones. It's against the thought of creation. That's why it gives much more contentment. Rav, why is integrating in the many, and the more the better, it's probably more beneficial than integrating in height by the individual. The more you integrate in a group is better than integrating in Rav. You understand that? Okay, go.
התקללות בקבוצה זה כוח.
Integrating in the group is a force, like the 10. That's where I can draw the forces to integrate. I don't know. I don't know either. I'm going to integrate with the friends. To integrate in Rav is high. The fall can be strong. Oh, so there, being alone, it's cold. Not a lot of oxygen. And between the friends, it's warm, it's work, it's nobody's scrutinizing me with a magnifying glass. I love them, I want to be with them, and I'll continue along with them. Well, it's both. My integration in the group allows us, as a group, to integrate in Rav.
That's the
essence of the work. We have to collect the pieces of the soul. We have to collect all the points of the heart and together create that vessel. Because by that we're giving contentment. The integration with Rav is in order for us to implement it. That's our goal. That's what Rav is guiding us to do. But we have to do the work with one another. When we're integrating in the 10, we have the option to run. We're not always paid attention to. If we're 1 in front of 1, so we have a problem here. Because then we're focused on. If the intention is Rav as a teacher, so you can technically maybe do it, but with friends, practically, you can learn with them. You can. We force the light to work on our desires. The work becomes intense and practical.
Giuseppe
is saying that the work in the group, that's the true work. Every day we have to annul towards one another. It's a work that just keeps going. Even to organize something with the others cause for integration. And all the advice of the Kabbalists, we do it in the group. That is the true laboratory and the true work. The true growth takes place there. I'll continue. I don't know what integrating in Rav is. I have no attainment in that degree. In what vessels can I do that or understand them? Only through love of friends, the group, only through what Rav is saying. And he's saying not doing it with them, only in the group. And then from the dvekut between the friends, the adhesion, we can have a connection with this degree called a Rav. Otherwise it's a disconnection. What the friend says, I better myself constantly through me integrating in the 10 for work, and through that I truly hear what Rav is saying. I don't have much to add. I'll continue what the friend said. We don't have an attainment what Rav is, just like justifying the Creator. I have to integrate with the friends. And through this integration, I have attainment with that friendship. Then I understand what Rav is and continue to the Creator. I want to thank the 10 that through this turnaround I felt the question a bit and know what we're talking about. That as you said, the work is in the group, the integration is in the group, the Rav is above me, and only through the group I can integrate with him too. Rav is our guide and we are the students. So let's learn. Stas gave the answer that Only when there was one turnaround in the 10 and we integrated, we could hear Rav. We had to integrate and hear what Rav is talking about. And the hardest thing to do, annulment, so to Rav, if I wouldn't do it in some kind of way, I wouldn't be here. But to the friends in the 10, it's more difficult to annul. And where it's difficult, that's where we work. Start working on our ego and the connection between us. Here's where all the juice comes out of a person. And the ego is revealed. And the evil. And that is something you can work with. The integration in the 10 is integration in the parts of our soul. And this is where we need to work. Integration in the many expands the vessel, the soul. And that's all of the work. Giuseppe is saying, I have nothing to add upon the friends. In the 10, we have the structure of the soul, and that is what I work with. And as a result, I can understand what the upper one is, who Rav is. How through this structure, part number 11 from Zohar La'am, you have, there's no organ in a man's body that does not have a corresponding creation in the world. This is so because as man's body divides into organs and they all stand degree over degree, established one atop the other, and they are all one body. Similarly, the world, meaning all of the creations in the world, are many organs standing one atop the other, and they are all one body. And when they are all connected, they will actually be one body. Again, there is no organ in a man's body that does not have a corresponding creation in the world. This is so because as man's body divides into organs, and they all stand degree over degree, established one atop the other, and they are all one body. Similarly, the world, meaning all of creations in the world, are many organs standing atop one another. And they all are one body. And when they are connected, they will actually be one body.
That's like we discover now in our world, that the world is an integral system. It's coming to one ball, already a small world, and in this small village, even more than that. It's not that we're connected together like they want to tell us, all the sociologists and economists and as such, but that we are truly, like the wisdom of Kabbalah, we are belonging to one system, to 10 Sfirot. We will learn that there's no more than that. And we are all truly in this one system, connected in a manner that is such that it's not connections like in our world, that there's connections apart between each of us, but rather one system where no one exists outside of the others. And only in our imagination today, as we are as if divided from the others, and each of us can seemingly exist in a separate manner, we are creating for ourselves this form of this world, the imaginary world. But if we start to stabilize the right connection between us, then instead of this world, we will start to feel, to discover the higher and upper world. And the real world is the world of Ein Sof, where there's endless connections between each other, so much so that we are truly in one desire, in one body. We can't imagine it to ourselves today, but definitely there, the feeling of the personal feeling disappears, and we all feel probably that we're in one general desire. And then each of us has the world of Ein Sof, probably of his own, that we don't understand. But what can we, from this part of the Zohar, learn? Please read it again and we'll talk about it.
Again, quote 11, there's not an organ in a man's body that does not have a corresponding creation in the world. This is so because as a man's body divides into organs, and they all stand degree over degree, established one atop the other, and they are all one body, similarly the world, meaning all the creations in the world, are many organs standing one atop the other. And they are all one body. And when they are all corrected, they will actually be one body.
If so, how can we depict still vegetative animal and speaking of this world as parts of the one structure of reality, which is completely Yud-Kei Vav-Kei? How can we depict the connection between all the parts of the creatures, as he says, which are truly similar to each other? How can all the parts of the creatures in this world connect to each other like to one body? Please. Talk together in order to describe this true system of connection which binds all the parts of reality.
כל החלקים האלה, כל הרמות האלה הם חלקים של...
All of these parts, these degrees, are parts of this one desire, one creature. They are all interconnected and interdependent according to the order of degrees. That the degree that we have to start with and correct is the speaking level, and that to all the other degrees depend on.
Yes, in essence, everything is connected in a wondrous order, and to the extent in which we can develop this sensor, we can develop all the connections and see that everything is included in everything.
First, somebody asked the Rav, what is the upper world? And he said, forget about it, there is no upper world. And now, you saw I said, if you want to discover the upper world, Ein Sof, so connect. So let's try and see how we connect now. So each one will truly attain this thing called the upper world, Ein Sof.
The description here shows a system that is in the same formula, and there's like one principle that operates everything, the force of reception, which operates upon, even on the smallest atom. Baal HaSulam says that even in the small atoms there are the same forces, which is the will to receive, basically. And if we come down to this internal common denominator and move from reception to bestowal in the work between us, we may merit to see that everything is one world that we're seeing as separated at the moment, but it's the same force, everything.
If we imagine this one desire that Moshe talked about as if it's a ball, a sphere, that's the picture I'm getting? So my attitude in each one of us towards this other desire, it's like that's what starts everything. It includes everything. And then there's these endless slices you can look from. As the shattered pieces, that's like the organs, and each one has the quality of each and every other.
I look at my body. I'm not capable of seeing the cells in my body, definitely not the atoms. Of course.
Are there friends from the duty 10? Where? Oh, okay, good. So, start explaining to us. Well, sum up everything we learned about the quality of Hitkalelut. Take the microphone. Good. Sum it up, that quality. But make it short, and everybody can talk.
Okay, so the first thing we learned is that incorporation is a state that is very high, that actually our ability to create a common area in which the Creator is revealed.
We also had an example that the key for integration is annulment in front of the demands of society and just doing. Today we were asked to broadcast on the radio, and in 1 hour we didn't even know in a technology way how to start it, but then we started broadcasting with the Russians, with the Tens on duty, and San Francisco.
Before that we had the effort, the labor, and in this labor that we do in the work together, in our desire to integrate, to do another action and another action together, we grow and attain this light, this perfection that is in our incorporation, which is the soul.
Abbiamo imparato questa mattina che Hitkalelut è scoprire, sperimentare questa area comune tra.
We said this morning that Hitkalelut is to find our mutual area.
ci permette di diventare responsabili uno degli altri.
And that feeling, that experience helps us live one in the other. And from that feeling, arvut is born, to be an arvut towards one another. Because in that mutual area, we can reach the goal.
During the broadcast on the radio, one of the friends expressed an impression from the World Kli. And while he was giving his words of impression, we could feel this incorporation with the whole World Kli together.
There's friends from 10 number 27 of Petach Tikva which supported us. It's the first time that Petach Tikva isn't leading, but supporting Moscow's leading. And maybe you want to say something too. Akoka, come. Or Leo, come, support us.
אין ליאור, יש אסירי ה-27, אז הנה רואי גם כן פה איתי, שנייה נביא חיבוק שנוכל להגיד.
There's no Lior, there's 10 number 27, so let's see if we can get something meaningful. Incorporation is
התקללות זה הדבר הכי חשוב בעבודה שלנו.
The most important thing in our work. From all the concepts we've studied so far, this is the most important thing in our work. It's the gate of our entrance into the common work that we do together. It's the source of our work. It's one big wonder how this whole world, this whole creation is one big incorporation. A very big incorporation, a very big impression from this lesson this morning, how all the Kabbalists, there is such a rich richness of texts from many Kabbalists and how they all describe in the same way exactly this amazing structure of integration that's between us and again in all of creation, and incorporation is the reality that we live in. And Shaike was also impressed. Maybe you should say something.
That's the reality that we want to live in. The Hitkalelut doesn't exist if we limit it with all kinds of details. So it's either you're there and you're included in it, and if you start slicing it up like man slices everything into definitions, so it's as if you're not really in it. And I hope that we'll be able to overcome and rise. I think it's going to be with the help of the next 10 that are speaking about the reforming light, that they'll make us truly integrate.
I want to say not about the topic itself, but about this forum that another 10, other than the groups here in Petah Tikva, is leading it. And I think we need to learn on all fields how we're making room, taking our volume out, which we've probably grabbed for many years, and letting other groups develop, breathe there, and express themselves. They're doing it, if not as good, even better than us. They have the forces, the desire, the drive, the youthfulness. They're doing it definitely much better than we did our first round, with a lot of force and inertia. We need to give them more such places for the groups in Israel and the world, a place where they can give the expression, just like we used to.
What Tshuva said, it's just like that. From yesterday evening, Tel Aviv group put together Yeshivat Chaverim, was translated in all languages, it was broadcasted in Svivat Tova. In a moment they did it. What Moscow did this morning, Kiev, what they did, San Francisco. And there was a stage where they said that we might not have a lesson from Rav. In 1 second, they all gathered and just started preparing a lesson. And then they got a prize. And that is integration. It's integration, Hitkalelut, is what I can give the friends that they can't get without me, and vice versa. There's that unique thing that each one can give the other. And as much as there's ability to annul oneself and make room for the friends to bestow upon it.
How can we do this onwards to really let the groups in the world lead such scrutinies?
That's what's about to happen, except for Sabbath where they can't, but for now the groups that will lead are Moscow, Peter, New York, Toronto. They have the technology to broadcast in high quality, so they'll keep doing it. And the groups of Israel that can come here physically, they can just come in.
Meaning 4 places, yes?
4 places can broadcast in good quality, as we saw with Moscow this morning. Along with it, I don't know, that technology can already say how we can let other friends do it. And groups from Israel, every group who wants to, you're welcome to come here and just do it, just like Tel Aviv did today. Maybe you say what you did, how the experience was for you.
What we did, it's hard to describe it because everything here rises from zero to perfection with the help of incorporation. It's not just words in the society and incorporation in the friends. The freshest thing that we started to talk about was the radio. It was like a spark of an idea after the morning lesson. And it accumulated into, we said, oh, let's do it throughout the morning till about 10 o'clock. At 10 we said, you know what, we're really going to gamble on doing this. So we got some advice from Miran Kultz on the phone how to do it, because we didn't know how we do this. Friends simply came, started to visit the radio and we stole through the radio and to everyone who listened. And all of a sudden Joseph called on the WhatsApp on the phone, so he also got on the line. A friend from the group that spoke Russian, we also see in the WhatsApp someone from Russia. Who's this friend? Because he's speaking Russian and they're translating him live. Somehow, with a magic wand, through this incorporation and this flow, we simply annulled and did. And it just happened.
Rav, good, that's how it's going to be. This is a force of integration.
What we would recommend to groups in Israel is every group that takes it, don't leave it for 3 or 4 from the management or the social committee. What really gave us the force is that everyone was involved, everyone connected to scrutinize. There were friends that were even at work and they felt that something big is happening, they started to make phone calls and entered into it. So if the whole group is involved and each feels that he wants to take a part and that if not, he's going to miss it, then we managed to create this thing. And really there was a lot of support here from Petach Tikva that gave us from their example and also technically helped us to make all the connections and Svivatova, and this connection between us created this process. We don't see like there was some technological obstacle. Any group that can do broadcasts, it does it through Zoom, and it was in good quality, and we didn't have any. I don't think it was difficult for us to do it technologically. It's pretty simple these days.
Good, so we have to develop it and get better, and for now, good job, guys.
נו,
בינתיים נשיר שיר.
איזה?
For the time being, we'll sing a song.
צריך להיות לנו מלמעלה.
נו, אם מלמעלה.
We should have a song from above.
אם אתה מקשיב, את הפאזל כבר מרכיב, והמילים חודרות עמוק בפנים, וזה גדל בלב משמחה ומכאב, יוצא למסע לא מתעכב. קוראים לזה אהבה אמיתית, והיא תגדל יפה ואנושית, עוד מאותם ימי בראשית. קוראים לזה אהבה אמיתית. אם אתה מרגיש מעצמך לתת, והניצוץ בך כבר מאותת, נחלים בחזומים של אהבה בעורקים, פתאום השחר מתעורר. קוראים לזה אהבה אמיתית, והיא תגדל יפה ואנושית, עוד מאותם ימי בראשית. קוראים לזה אהבה אמיתית, קוראים לזה אהבה אמיתית,